Hello everyone. It is Facebook Live. It is Monday and November 28th. I am broadcasting from the front desk. Last hour seems to be the longest, so thought let's make it go faster. And I am here to answer your questions. Got one person on viewing me. Hello. We'll start here in a couple minutes. But just to do a test really quick, could you just type in a comment saying hi or something so I can, okay. Hey Justin, I see you. And Jamayan, hey Jamayan. And just so I know that some people are tuned in. Evidently I can put on a mask while I do this with Facebook, so that's fun. Hey Angela, I see you. Okay. And I got my computer running too. Oh, hey. Hello, April. Hi, Patricia. How are you? Jamar. Okay. Is it like coffee talk? Judy, I wish I had coffee right now, to be honest. If I had some coffee, it would be coffee talk, but it's not. So we're just doing Let's Talk House. Okay. So I have brought out a couple of cute little topics today. I'm not going to go too into depth because that's dangerous. So we're just going to do some minor glossing of first-time homebuyer tips. Look, hey, Eileen and Jay Robert and Margaret, and there's Tim. So that's fun. But again, we're just going to go over some basic little tips for how to buy a house your first time. So, and I've lost my notes. Hold tight. If you guys do have specific questions, go on ahead and type them in. That way I know what to touch on. That's always helpful. Otherwise, I'm just talking about stuff that you don't care about. Hey, Tracy. All right. There they are. Okay. Okay. So, any questions before I get started? I'll hold. Let's see. Okay, I guess not. All right. So first time homebuyer tips. First of all, before you do anything, you need to establish what you can afford. So what does that mean? That means getting yourself a cup of coffee or tea one night, or even a glass of wine, which is probably what you're gonna need, and sitting down and going over your finances, what your rent is like, what your average utility bill is like, car payments, credit card payments, tallying up your monthly debt, so to speak. So that's the very first thing that you're gonna wanna do. And then after that, you need to call a lender. That way you have all that information already. Yeah, two people like fell off as soon as I said you got to get pre-approved first, because yes, it is the most important thing. You have to find a good lender. Us at Tate, we have great lenders here. Tracy and Eileen are also fantastic lenders if you happen to be down in the Florida area. So find yourself a good lender. Friends, family, or the agent that you use can always recommend a good lender. And that's the very first thing you have to do before you do anything else, is just to know how much you're pre-approved for, and then you can figure out what your comfort level is. So that is the most important thing. The second thing is to, once you do get your pre-approval, to look at that number, the monthly payment, and see if that's realistically what you want to be paying per month for a mortgage payment. Especially with first-time home buyers, you gotta, oh, I got all the likes. Especially with first-time home buyers, you have to factor in hidden expenses that come with home ownership. Of course, rent, yes, it's a little bit more expensive, but at the same time, you're not having to fix anything. And that is something to seriously think about before you buy a house for the first time. Especially be thinking about, okay, what if my roof starts leaking? What if the water heater goes out? What if the HVAC system goes out? I always enjoy watching my friends who are first-time home buyers after they've closed on their house, and every time they move in, they go, buy a house, they said, it'll be fun, they said. The costs are definitely there, but if you've planned properly, the cost of home ownership, of course, is exponentially wonderful because you've already planned ahead and you're not in dire straits trying to get things fixed. Also plan on, do you vacation a lot? Do you like to go out to dinner a lot? Do you like to, I don't know, go see shows, stuff like that? Factor in your social life too when looking at a monthly mortgage payment. Don't let those things go out the window, especially when you're buying your first house. Because you might have to plan for some tough months. I've had a lot of friends who have had tough months. I myself say I don't have 20% to put down. Can I still buy a home? Tracy, yes, you can. Why are you asking me that question? You know better. The lender's asking me lending questions. Yes, you don't have to have 20% to put down in a house, especially, oh yeah, you're welcome. Especially in the rural areas, such as Lancaster, Chester, even some parts of Fort Mill, and even some very small parts in Rock Hill do have 100% financing. Of course, then you have 3.5% financing for FHA, and then conventional and other programs go in from there. So talk to a lender. I'm not a lender, but you do have different programs, and you don't have to put 20% down if you don't want to. Where was I? Oh, I remember now. But you, again, factor in your social life and everything that you are whenever you're buying a house for the first time. It's always good to have that. And there's two schools of thought when it comes to getting pre-approved. I go with the first one, which is go lower than what you're pre-approved for. That way you do have money to go out. You do have money to pay for upgrades and updates and all the things that are necessary when being a homeowner. Having that emergency fund, so to speak. I'm all for that. And then you got the other school of thought, which, you know, it's fine. It just depends on what your plans are. Like if you're only going to be in the house for like 3 to 5 years, then going below just to get something that's good for right now and making it you and selling it in the future, you know, that's going to be better over the course of time. Now, if you're a buyer who, and I've had buyers like this, they say my first home is going to be my last home. Yes, things always do come up. Thank you, Sean. They always do. That always hits the fan after you move in. I had my water heater, my refrigerator, and my HVAC system go out all within a month of me moving into my little condo, so that was fun. But anyway, but if you're one of those folks that says my first house is going to be my last house, I'm going to be here for the rest of my life, I think that is fantastic. And if that is really what you're planning on doing, then you know that you can go a little bit towards the edge of the top end of your budget. That way you're getting what you really want. That'll satisfy you over those 30 years. It's a very small school of thought, but it does happen. All right. So again, what are your costs outside of the loan? Before you buy a house, you need to sit down and you need to look at your bank account. And you have to look at it hard. Besides just getting a loan and buying a house, there's a lot of outside costs to it. Like an inspection, home inspections usually go, depending on the company, anywhere between $350 to $500, sometimes $600, $700. So you have to have that ready to go. Your appraisal fee, depending on the lender, usually about $350, $450, depending on the lender. Then you have your survey fees, your termite letter fees, all these other fees. But again, just you need to have a good chunk of change in the bank. That way, again, you can actually have your due diligence done and done properly. There's too many buyers that aren't completely prepared for that. Their upfront costs, their costs that you might not ever get back in the long run. So you have to be prepared and comfortable with expending that kind of money for your due diligence process. Otherwise, things might go by the wayside and you'll wind up paying for it in the future. So what other questions do we have? Justin Waterfield is asking, what's an average amount of money that gets added on top of the home value, i.e. closing cost? Ooh. That would have to be a question for a lender, Justin. Average, I always play it on the safe side and go a little bit high, but I would hate to say anything. But if Tracy or Eileen wants to chime in on that, since they're lenders, and answer that question, that'd be awesome. So let's see, Carrie Marks asks, is the VA loan program worth using? I've heard mixed things. And that's the thing with any loan program, you're going to get mixed bag of feedback. There's no such thing as 100%. People have bad experiences, people have good experience, people have decent experiences. It's just, it is what it is. But I've had a couple clients who have done VA and they've loved it. It's worked out great for them. So I haven't had any issues with VA loans. I think it just all depends on mainly the lender and the program and how well the lender works with you. So we'll go over that in a second. Christy Williamson, oh, thank you. You're so sweet. And Tracy did answer that question. Is between 3 to 5% of your loan is closing costs. So thank you, Tracy. Yes. Okay, so moving on. So once you got the basic numbers and everything together, you need to be looking at what you're looking at neighborhood-wise. Do you need to be close to work? Do you need to be close to schools? Do you need to be close to a park that you want to walk your dog? I've had clients that give me the basics of I need to be close to a shopping mall. I have to be within walking distance to the train so I can stumble my way back from uptown. I've heard that one. So, you know, it's good to know what kind of amenities you want in the neighborhood in which you're going to be living. That way you're getting the most out of your home ownership experience. And again, asking the question, how long am I really going to live here? So let me tell you my story. Going back 8 years, I bought my first house when I was 20. Before I became a realtor, I was still in college, and instead of getting an apartment, I decided to buy my first house. I was pre-qualified for much more than I really should have been. And my mother, who was my realtor at the time, she told me, look, you're not going to be living in this house forever. So you might as well go for something smaller, good for just you, and then you can rent it out one day or you can sell it. You can do whatever you want with it. But trust me on this, you don't want to, you know, stay in this house, stay house poor forever with a single family home. So ultimately what my mom talked me into, kicking and screaming, was a little condominium, which I still do own, and I rent it out to a wonderful family. So it's great. I'm glad that I made that decision, because when you're 20 or 21, 22, 23, I don't know, when you're first thinking about your house, you think of that perfect quintessential house, and that's great. And one day you can have the perfect quintessential house, and I have to say that you're, hey Jeff, I can see you. You can have the perfect house, but very few people get the dream house, you know, the childhood dream house, the first time out. What I found, what really happens is that you get close to the dream house and then you make it your own, and then it eventually becomes your dream house. So with that being said, I would say keep an open mind to see how long you're really going to be living there, and is it really worth, you know, paying $30,000-$40,000 extra dollars for the quintessential dream house when you could have a little bit more wiggle room financially and just have the cute little house. Hey Michael, how you doing? All right, so moving on. Oh, this is the biggest thing. and a realtor telling you this, you need to ask yourself, are you ready to be a homeowner? You have to. There's a lot of responsibilities. Once the renting stops, or if you happen to be living with your family, living with roommates, whatever, once you become a homeowner, that's all on you. You have to be prepared to deal with the crazy stuff that's going to come down, and you have to be willing to take the responsibility, because there's nobody to call once you become a homeowner. You can call contractors, you can call handyman and everything, but it's totally on you. Now, it is fun. It's really fun. You're like, okay, that's one thing done. Yay, awesome. I feel better about myself. And it's your house. So you get to choose who comes in your house. You get to choose how you decorate your house. You get to choose what's done to it and everything, instead of someone telling you what you can and cannot do. So that is the beauty of having your own house. But you do need to sit down and ask yourself, am I really ready to be a homeowner? And if you say, if no, then hold out, or, ask yourself a couple more questions, ask a realtor a couple more questions. That works too. And just see if it's something for you. Not for everybody, but if it is for you, then I am here to answer your questions there. Okay, so moving on, we're 15 minutes in and haven't hyperventilated yet. That's awesome. Okay, so once you got those 5 questions answered, then you're going to move on to your wish list making. So with your wish list making, you're going to want to sit down, again, with a cup of coffee, whatever. If you're going to be buying a house with your significant other or friend, anything like that, then they need to be a part of this as well. Oh, thank you, Susan, because I feel like I'm getting really lightheaded. Where was I? Oh, okay. Sorry. Whenever you're making your wish list, be specific about your needs, your wants, and you seriously must-haves. Like these are the non-negotiables, so to speak. So, write down everything. And then I'm a big list maker. Love lists. They're my favorite thing to do. But how many bedrooms do you want? Bathrooms? Do you want a backyard? Do you not really care for a backyard? Do you want a community where everything's done for you, which is awesome? Do you want a fence in the backyard? Do you want a pool in your community? Do you want the master bedroom downstairs? Stuff like that. And once you have that list, then go through again, highlight the stars and star what you really, really need. That way you kind of stay true to yourself over the course of the home search process, because your needs will change, your wants will change, everything will change. So keeping that list with you not only helps you, but it helps the agent or realtor that will be guiding you through the process, so they know how to go. Also, if you're still kind of blanking on what you really want, take a look at your current living situation. Where you are, what you like, what you don't like, things you like to change. That way you're not missing anything overall. So again, if you live in a condominium or an apartment, you might be like, you know what, I really need a spot for my dog. I need to let my dog out the back here. Then that's something that's very important to you. Oh, hey Dave, how you doing? So anyway, that's your needs and your wants list. Okay, so final parting tips. Picking with an agent and working with an agent. Hi, I'm an agent. I'm a realtor. I work at Allen Tate. But you don't have to pick me if you don't want to. No, really pick me, choose me, love me. Picking an agent and working with an agent. Friends and family are very good testimonials from your friends and family about the agents that they've worked with in the past. Bye, Tracy, I love you. But people that they've worked with in the past, get those testimonials from them and see who they would recommend, because if they had a good experience, good begets good and all that other stuff. So that's a good way to find an agent. Let's see. So once you do find an agent or a couple, even check out their resumes online, check out their web pages, check out their Facebooks, see what they have to say, see what their clients have to say, all of that. That way that they can be a good fit for you. You can even interview agents. I've had a couple people do that. So then once you've picked your agent, tell them how you like to communicate. If you like texting, if that's how you do, then texting it is. If you're more of a phone call person, you want phone calls, then tell your agent that you want phone calls. If you're an email person, all of that. That way the agent knows how to communicate with you appropriately and when. Let's see, I've already kind of touched on this, but be open-minded when it comes to the home search. If your agent finds something that they think is totally you, and they're willing to take you to that house, or much like my mother did, kicking and screaming, then just go into it with an open mind. If you hate it, you hate it, that's cool. But agents are here to help you. The realtors are here to help you find your dream home, and they are very good with assessing what you like and you don't like after a certain period of time. So be sure to trust your agent. Your needs may change over the course of the home search. This is extremely important. Your needs, your wants are more than likely going to change. If that happens, let your realtor know. Otherwise, we do get good at picking out things here and there, but if you say, yeah, I don't have a problem with carpet's no big deal, but in the back of your mind, you're really wanting those hardwood floors, those laminate floors, and you don't want to do that, you need to let your agent know. That way they know not to show you houses that have carpet all over the place, stuff like that. Because over time, it'll start to bother you. You're like, why do they keep on bringing me to the houses with the carpet in it? It drives me crazy. Or if the most common one that I've seen is, especially down here in the South, I want a ton of acreage. I want all the acreage. I need to have acreage, which is fine. But I have found that sometimes people decide, oh, you know what, I don't need this much acreage. And then you're missing out on all these other houses that say that you wanted an acre of land when you first started your search. And you go, well, you know what, I can actually do with half an acre. You've missed out on so many other houses that have that half acre, have everything else on your list, but because you didn't tell your agent, it's now gone. So you have to communicate that to your agent during the home buying process. Otherwise, we won't change the search up for you. And that's what we're here to do. You're not going to hurt our feelings by saying, look, if you show me one more ranch, I'm going to murder you. That's fine. You can say that to me. Well, you can say that to me. I don't know about other agents, but you got to let us know, and we'll be happy to change that search for you. When you do find the one, you got to be ready to act fast, especially this past summer. I had one client, and they were so patient, so wonderful through the process. I think we ran into, oh golly, somewhere between 10 and 20 multiple offer situations. I even had one where it went on the market on a Sunday, and it was under contract within an hour. So once you do find the one, yeah, you can have your family come in, you can do whatever you want, but if this is the real one, then write an offer on it first and then schedule that second showing. That way you're not wasting time. That's pretty much. Oh, my favorite tip. It's awesome. You guys ready for this? My favorite tip. Buyer's agency is free. That means that you don't have to pay your buyer's agent. In South Carolina, it's paid for by the seller. So unless it's a for sale by owner situation or anything along those lines, your buyer's representation is free. So make sure that you do pick a good agent that is going to work for you, that is going to communicate with you, that's going to guide you through the process efficiently. So that's pretty much it. Does anybody have any closing questions? I will wait. Oh, excellent. I kept it right under 30 minutes too. Okay. Well, next week, trying to get an official mortgage person on here to answer your questions and to also have a cute little presentation. Nope, says Jemian. Okay, so Jemian has no questions. That's fine, Jemian. That's totally fine. But anyway, next week I'll try to have a lender on. And if not, then a couple of other mini topics. Again, I don't want to go into too much depth, or otherwise I start to ramble, as you'll see, once this video is done. So anyway, thank you guys for being here, and thank you for tuning in. Leave your comments, questions in the comment bar, and we'll go from there. So thanks for tuning in for my first installment. You guys have a fantastic day.